Hey everyone, I thought I'd do a bit of a different video this week just because I've had quite a few comments asking me to do a Q&A. So I thought it'd be nice to just have more of a chatty sort of video rather than a vlog and give you guys the opportunity to ask me any questions you've been wanting to ask, and yeah, just have a bit of a cozy evening together. I got myself a little tea, so if you want to get yourself a little tea and a snack, we can have a cozy evening together. So as you're probably aware, I put up an Instagram story asking you guys to send me some questions. I got a lot more questions than I thought I was going to get. Obviously I can't answer them all, but I thought I'd pick some of the questions that you guys asked the most and also the ones that I want to answer. I don't even need to look because I already know what the most common question was that I received, which was, how did Isaac and I meet? So I'll start there and then I'm just going to be going through the questions on my phone. Yeah, I did speak about this when I did that one TikTok live ages ago. But obviously, of course, I'll explain again. Isaac and I went to school together. So technically we met in year 7, but of course, obviously we didn't start going out then. We lived in the same village throughout school, so we always played out and stuff together over the years. We were good friends. We weren't best friends, but we were good friends. Like I said, we had a group of friends in our village that we would hang out with and stuff. So yeah, we would all play out together. It actually wasn't until the first, so I didn't stay on at school, which I'll get onto later because I've had questions about that, but it was actually the first sort of year of sixth form that we started seeing each other as more than friends, which was back in 2017. We started officially dating in 2018. And then, yeah, we've been together for over 7 years now. So yeah, we were 17 when we first got together. I've had a lot of questions about kind of our relationship. So like I said, we lived in the same village for the majority of our relationship until I moved out of the village. Obviously, living in the same village, it kind of, from the very beginning, as soon as we realized we liked each other as more than friends, we just saw each other all the time. It was pretty much 0 to 100. We would see each other every day. Which, I don't know, maybe that's not the best thing to do, but then also it worked for us. I guess, yeah, it was just a very 0 to 100 relationship, and it's kind of always been like that. And we've also worked together, so I had a few questions about that. Did we meet at Marks and Spencer's? No, we didn't. We'd already been together for 2 years at that point. I'm just scrolling through because I feel like I'll get the majority of the me and Isaac questions done at the start. So I'm just scrolling through. There's so many, guys, to see which other questions aren't specifically how and when did we meet. So I'm going to try and get to the bottom and let's go from there. Oh my God, obviously I've had a lot of questions how do I even word this? I guess I'll just say it how it is on here. What do I think about what Isaac does? I mean, obviously, Isaac's really funny and he always has been really funny. So for me, obviously, I know that a lot of the stuff he puts out on social media is really odd and funny, but that is my sense of humor and I find it really funny. And he's always been like that. So that's something that I specifically liked about him. I actually had years ago, don't know if any of you guys have ever had these, but I had this it was a book where it asks you questions and you fill in your answers. It might be something who's your best friend right now and where do you want to be in 5 years and stuff like that. I'm literally 13 at this point, by the way. One of the questions was, who's the funniest person you know? And I put down Isaac Smith. Isaac. Yeah, because he's hilarious. He's always been funny. Obviously, he would come around to mine throughout school, and obviously my mum had met him back then and stuff, way before we were ever anything, and also my grandma, and that's how they would refer to him, as the funny one. He's hilarious. So yes, I know the stuff he puts out is interesting, but to me, I think it's really funny. And no, honestly, it doesn't give me the ick the majority of the time because I find it funny. So yeah. Okay, so I had a few questions as well asking, how do you know that you found the one? Which I don't know if that exists really, because I think there's lots of people that have relationships and they might lose their partner, or you might split up after years and then you find someone else. So I don't know if I specifically believe in the one, but I guess in my experience, the only thing that I could personally say, and kind of what I tell like my friends who are stressed because they can't find anyone or they've not settled down in a relationship, is that I truly do believe that you just have this feeling when you click with someone and you're right for each other. And that's, I guess, kind of how I would describe how I feel with Isaac. We just work very well. I feel extremely comfortable with him, which I guess, you know, I know not all people do in their relationships. They don't feel fully comfortable with their partner and stuff like that, whereas I've never felt like that. I don't think that you should put so much stress on finding the one. I think just find someone who makes you happy and who makes you feel comfortable in yourself. I don't think you should ever be changing yourself or feel embarrassed or feel, I don't know. I feel like there should be no level of like, oh, I don't want to do this in front of them, or I don't want to say that to them, or I'm too scared to say that. Like, I think if that's how you feel, you know, you and your partner should be equal. I don't like, and I guess, yeah, that's part of feeling comfortable with your partner, isn't it? So that's not me fully answering the question, but hopefully that gives a bit of, I don't know. But I guess in terms of finding someone, I do believe as well that everything will happen for a reason, and your right person will come along at the right time. And if you haven't met that person yet, that's okay, and just enjoy being single. I've seen a question on here about how do I cope with feeling left out when all of my friends are in relationships. Obviously, I'm not the best person to comment on this because I've been in a long-term relationship for, well, you know, it's a big chunk of my life. But what I would say is I think that use that time to focus on you. You'll have plenty of time where you'll be in a relationship with someone where, you know, you'll have someone else to think about. So right now, it's not your time to be in a relationship, and that's fine. That's your time to focus on you, look after yourself. And I guess if you really want to be in a relationship, think of it as, you know, you're doing everything you can to love yourself as much as possible, so that when you do find someone, you're really happy and content in yourself, and that person is just an extra to your life. You know, you're solid and confident within yourself, if that makes any sense at all. So yeah, I think don't stress too much if you're not in a relationship. I just think it's not meant for you right now, and other things in your life are more of a priority, and that's okay. Like I said, I'm just going to get all the main like relationship questions out the way. Any tips for long-term relationships? I mean, again, so hard to comment because my relationship's just my relationship. I'd say something that Isaac and I do well is we communicate quite well. Like I said, there's never going to be a situation where I'm too scared to say something to Isaac, or I don't want to voice how I feel, and I obviously want him to do the same. And I think if that, you know, if you can't communicate with your partner, then I just don't see how a relationship would work, because you have to communicate. Everyone has their own feelings. And especially in a long-term relationship, you do change and grow. In my situation, we've gone from being, well, children to now adults. And of course, we've changed and grown a lot during that time period, together alongside each other, as well as separately as people. You know, I've become an adult now, you know, don't feel like it, but I have. So yeah, I think communication is so important. Everyone says that. I think a really big thing is being strong in yourself. I would say that for me, I'm quite an independent person. I'm not a very reliant person. I of course love spending time with Isaac, but I'm not reliant on Isaac. So I think that's really important, to have your own thing, your own friends, your own life, so that you're not everything, not all of this pressure is just on your relationship. I think like that's important as well. Also, I guess I think, you know, it depends on who you're with. Like I said before, I think, you know, Isaac and I work well together. We complement each other quite well. As in, I guess, like personality types. I guess I'm a very passionate person. I can get quite emotional, I guess. My family would say that I'm feisty. I can't help it. It's in my blood. So I feel like, and Isaac is not like that. He's quite calm. So not really a good thing on my part, but we then balance each other out quite well. Obviously, if we were both like that, then when we do argue, we would butt heads all the time. Whereas it might be that I feel like quite like passionate and get whatever about something, whereas he stays quite calm, and then that in return makes me calmer. So I think obviously that's really good on his part, not so good on my part. But I think, yeah, again, who you're with, you need to work well together. But I just think every relationship's different. I think what works for me wouldn't necessarily work for you, but I feel like those things I've mentioned are kind of the base things that you should have in a relationship. Any tips for living with men? Honestly, Isaac's really tidy, so I've got a good one, so I'm sorry about that. All I would say is tell them to sort their shit out and not to be messy. Don't let a man be messy. I'm going to move on to jobs now and work. So I again had a lot of questions about, is this the only thing that I do now? And if it is, what did I do before I started doing social media? I guess I'll start from the beginning, because I've had quite a few messages from girls saying like, what did you do once you left school, and like, what jobs have you had? So immediately when I left school, like left year 11, I actually went to college. Again, I'll speak about that afterwards, because people have asked me about what I've studied and stuff. I went to college, so I got a weekend job straight away in retail. I worked at Debenhams on like a concession store, you know, like when there's little brands within Debenhams. Obviously Debenhams doesn't exist anymore. I worked on John Richards, which don't know if any of you will know that, but it was basically a jewellery stand. So I did that weekends at first, and then I would do it in the evening, because it was in the same town as where my college was. So yeah, I did like various retail jobs for the next 2 years. Like I worked at TK Maxx, at Outfit, where like Topshop and stuff was. And I would just kind of do this around college. So I'd work on the weekends, and I would also work like in the evenings, or sometimes college would finish earlier. So like I do an afternoon shift or something like that. And then I got my job at Marks and Spencer's, which is the longest retail job I did, which Isaac and I did. We both got a job there. We started as Christmas temps, which is a great way, by the way, to, if you're looking at trying to get into retail as just, you know, just to get a part-time job or something, or even full-time, I did that full-time, and you're struggling to get in somewhere, wait till about October, November time, because a lot of places will advertise for Christmas temps, and not always obviously, but a lot of the times they will keep some staff on, you know, if you work hard enough. So yeah, if you're looking, it's a great time to apply and like put your CV in and stuff. Quite a few of my jobs started as Christmas temp jobs, and then like they kept me on. And when I worked at M&S, I started in women's wear, and I ended up working all over the store. So I did the food hall, which I really didn't like. It was so cold in there, obviously, because it's just fridges and no windows in there, so it was so depressing. And at that point I did 2 till 10 shifts, so 2 p.m. till 10 p.m. So it was like, you know, you'd get home at like 11 o'clock, and yeah, it was not, I don't recommend the late shifts. I did that, and then I ended up in the cafe, which I enjoyed the most, because that's where I trained to do the baristering. They teach you how to cook and stuff, and I don't know, in the cafe it was more of like you're doing something, you're cooking or you're making the coffee, or to be honest, even doing the dishwasher I enjoyed. Like time went so much faster. So yeah, that was definitely my favourite. It was then that I actually went into marketing. So I didn't study marketing, but I had a family member who worked in a marketing department and said that they needed like someone to come and work part-time. So I was like, well, I'd rather do that. And it was obviously better money than just working in retail, and it was from home. So I was like, all right, I'll do that. And that's how I got into marketing. So I worked at a chartered surveyor's for 2 years, which was interesting. I mean, it wasn't very exciting. Obviously, it was a chartered surveyor. I was quite a bit younger than everyone else there. So like I didn't make many friends there or anything, which, I mean, it was all right. You know, I was there to work, but I didn't love it there. But it was a job, and yeah, I ended up I started there part-time, but I ended up going full-time, and yeah, I did all right there. I got promoted and stuff. I then ended up moving to giffgaff, which I loved working there. I was very lucky. So I had a new manager at the chartered surveyor place that I was at, and she knew that I wanted to move on from this job. I got on really well with her, and she was in like a group chat with other CMOs, which is chief marketing officers, and she basically just put a message into this chat saying, I've got a girl here, she's 20, I think I was 22 at the time, 22, looking for a new opportunity, blah blah blah. And the CMO of giffgaff replied and said, oh, we're actually looking for someone to join our brand marketing team. So yeah, giffgaff reached out to me, I interviewed with them, I fell in love with my manager immediately. Yeah, I worked there for just under a year, literally up until I moved to London, which was last September. That's what I did before. I've had a lot of questions saying, do I miss working? Yes, is the answer. I think, it was my choice to stop working purely because I guess, well, to put it really honestly, obviously the money I was earning from working full time compared to like what Isaac was earning was very different. And I just didn't need to work anymore. And also there was a lot of times where there was opportunities for me to go away with Isaac, but obviously of course I couldn't go because I'm working, a 9-5 and you've got limited holiday and stuff. And I guess it just created such a difference in our lives that, yeah, I decided to stop. I guess what I would say with that is obviously I know I'm extremely lucky to even be in that position. I'm 24. And I'm very grateful for that. But what I would say, and I hope this, of course, doesn't come across wrong, is that it's not what I thought it would be. So, I really thought when I was working, oh, I'd love to not have to work every day, and I'd love to just have the freedom to do whatever I want, whenever I want, and all of that. And honestly, it really wasn't long after I finished working that I kind of thought, well, what am I doing then? If I'm not working, kind of what is my purpose every day? Because okay, right, there's stuff to do around the apartment, but even then, I'm 24 and I enjoyed working. I like using my brain and I like socializing. And I guess when I finished, I didn't get to do any of that anymore. And I really, really missed it. So to be, completely transparent, as soon as I stopped, I was kind of like, I don't really know why I did that. And I don't think it was the right decision. I'm actually going back into work. I'm going to be working freelance for a company, helping with their branding and stuff. The reason I'm doing freelance is so that I can also do this stuff on the side and also have flexibility. Because obviously, yeah, I'll be freelance. I won't be tied in to like specific days. Yeah, just because I think I miss working. I miss using my brain. I miss having routine and structure. And I guess, like, to put it plainly, like purpose. That kind of leads on to another question that I've been asked a lot, which is, why did I start to do this? And why did it take me so long to decide to do this? I started doing this because I thought, well, I had built up followers just, purely by people following me because I'm Isaac's girlfriend. And I guess it felt like a wasted opportunity to not do anything. And then also when I wasn't working and, as I said, I was in a place where I was like, well, I don't want to do nothing. I thought, well, I will go down that route maybe and see how I like it, which is why I started the TikTok stuff. But as you know, I don't love the TikTok stuff. I will continue to do it every so often, but kind of already I'm much more enjoying the YouTube stuff rather than TikTok. That's where I'm at basically. I'm at a point where I will continue to do this, but I'm also going to be working sort of back in the sort of industry that I did before. Okay. I wasn't sure if I was going to answer this or not because I feel like it's quite a difficult question to answer, but a lot of people have asked it. So I think I'll touch on it as best as I can. But a lot of people have asked how basically, how has it been being in a public relationship, and has it been difficult? And yeah, a lot of people have asked, how have I found sort of adapting to what Isaac's chosen to do? So, I mean, obviously it's not normal, is it? I think that's kind of the main thing. Yeah, I guess I feel like, of course, people know that me and Isaac are together. And of course, you know, I've now chosen to do more stuff online. So I've put myself out there a bit more. But I still feel like, yes, it's, our relationship's public, but it's not, you know, obviously there's loads of our relationship that nobody sees, and that's still private, and that's between us. So I feel like that's okay. And of course, I'm happy with people knowing that we're together. I mean, that was never something like we specifically discussed when he started this, was like, oh yes, we're going to be public. I think obviously there was already pictures of us on Isaac's Instagram, and of course with the videos he was filming, there was always a girl in the background, so I felt like it was kind of obvious he had a girlfriend. Yeah, I guess probably this is the correct question to answer. What was it like for you when Isaac started growing in popularity? I mean, obviously I'm not gonna lie, it's obviously odd, you know. I think if I had got with Isaac when he already did this job, you know, I would have known what I was getting into. Like, this would have been his job. But I guess adapting from like a normal relationship, because obviously we'd been together for like 3-4 years at the point where he started, you know, blowing up on TikTok and even doing this full stop. That is odd to adjust to. I'd say I've had a lot of people asking me, do the edits bother me? No, they don't bother me. I think they're funny half the time. Like, obviously, like, you know, especially when they're stupid ones, but no, like, they don't bother me at all. I'd say the only thing that's quite hard is, I guess, the lack of privacy when you go out. I'd say that's probably the hardest thing to adjust to, and has been the hardest thing to adjust to, and still is. Obviously, again, you know, it's really not a normal situation, like, for it to be when you go out with your partner, that like they're stopped and photos are taken and stuff like that. We get more used to it now because, yeah, it happens more and more. I'd say, yeah, that's quite difficult, just because you know, of course, there's some days where you don't want anyone to see you because you're not put makeup on, or you just, you know, you're in a bad mood, something's happened, or me and Isaac might be frustrated with each other, and the last thing we want is for people to be taking photos of us and stuff like that. But on the flip side, I of course understand it, because if there was someone I really loved and I saw them out and about, I'd be, you know, be like, oh my God, like, it's so and so. So I get it. I guess it's just hard sometimes to be on the receiving end of it. Quite a few people have asked me here, does it bother me that Isaac's fan base is more girls? No, I don't think it doesn't bother me. I'd say there's, of course, times, like, again, where we've been out, and I'd say girls definitely overstep the line, which, again, like, wouldn't happen in a normal scenario. Quite a few times, like, when we'll be out and stuff, like, we've had it when we're out, and say, like, we've gone to a club or something, and like, we might be holding hands, and then a girl will literally come over and like put her arms around Isaac, and it's like, I'd say that's odd. But then, you know, a lot of people don't do that. I think that's only certain people, and I think that's just a boundaries thing, full stop. I feel like you should never just be going up to someone and just touching them. You know, you wouldn't do that normally. So yeah, I'd say they're the only times that it can be hard. But apart from that, no. I feel like this kind of comes into the same category. Were you worried about how Isaac's fans would react to you? Yes. That's kind of another reason why it took so long for me to post. I really, really thought that, obviously, because he had so many female fans, that it was going to be a case of I was going to get ripped to shreds. Like, I really thought it was going to be like, she's punching, she's not even all that, he could do better, blah, blah, blah. And I thought that, obviously, because everyone loves him so much, they just automatically wouldn't like me, which so far, like, obviously, the girls have been so welcoming to me. Like, I couldn't be more grateful and more thankful. So yeah, I had nothing to worry about, really. But like it's natural to worry about those sorts of things anyway, even if you're just going to be posting on social media full stop. But yeah, I was worried, but I'm really lucky, I feel like, but also of course really grateful that that's not the reception that I've had. So I had quite a lot of questions about what did I study and did I go to university. So I didn't go to university. I did do open university in 20 no, it was actually late 2019. So I started in September 2019 and I did a course to be, well, a degree to be a primary school teacher. That's what I wanted to do. Unfortunately, because it then hit 2020 and hit lockdown, as part of my course, I needed to go into a school. Like a lot of it was, how do I explain? You would have to like study a child or like study a lesson, like stuff like that. My first load of exams, I used like the mock-up. How do I even explain that? Do you know what I mean? Like they had like fake versions of that which you could base your exams off of, but of course it was not the same as doing it in real life. So my first load of exams, like my first year, I did do that, and I passed and stuff. It was fine. I got good grades actually. But then when I went into my second year, it just became too hard. And at that point I'd started my first marketing job, and to be completely transparent, the money was better in marketing. And like I said, I couldn't get into a school. So the harder it got as the years went on, the more I couldn't, my exam, what I was trying to write in the exams were just based off of nothing. And a lot of people on the Open Uni course were a lot older. I feel like obviously, I was like, 19 doing this. Most people my age go to uni, don't they? So a lot of them were older, and a lot of them were other mums. So they either had their own children or they were already teaching assistants working in schools. So yeah, I decided to stop I stopped in the second year. So I have the first year qualification, which you still do. I didn't know, you still do get something after the first year. I can't remember. It's like something like Certificate of Higher Education, something like that. But yeah, I didn't carry on. So no, I don't have a degree. And then I guess in terms of A levels, I didn't have a good experience. I did my A levels at college. This is such a long story. So I went to college to do biomedical science, three A levels in biomedical science, because I wanted to go into the medical side behind making skincare and making perfumes and stuff like that. And they offered it at a college near me as A levels. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. Literally the day I started my A levels, they said, we're not running that anymore. How they got away with that, I do not know. So everyone on that course was just called into another room, and they were just like, you need to pick 3 other A levels. I could have, of course, gone back to sixth form, but I just felt too embarrassed to be honest. Like I'd left school, I didn't want to go back. So I just on the spot picked law, photography and media. And like couldn't be further from what I wanted to do. But my law teacher, I can't remember what happened with that class. Something went wrong with that class as well. So I ended up having to drop that. And I literally just had photography and media. So I have 2 A levels. And you can't make it up. Literally in my first year of photography, fine, like had a teacher and stuff. Came back after the summer holidays for my second year. We go to our photography classroom. No teacher. Like walking around, we find someone on like the A level floor, and we're like, do you know where our photography teacher is? They were like, oh, they had fired him the summer holiday before, like just before, well, I guess during the summer holidays, and then just didn't rehire anyone. So in my actual A level year, we had no photography teacher. It was mad. Like parents had to come in and everything. And believe it or not, that wasn't enough of a reason. Like we tried to apply for, when it came to our actual A levels, we tried to apply for like, what's it called? Like consideration to be taken, because we weren't provided a teacher. That's specifically something that they state when you try to apply for that. Something they won't give it to you for is if the facility does not provide a teacher. But you can have it for hay fever. So they'll take into consideration your grades if you have hay fever, but not if you're not given a teacher. How wild is that? We literally were just given like random supply teachers. Like we had one person who had never taught photography in their life. It was honestly horrendous, like really, really, really bad. So my A levels weren't great. I got a B in media and a C in photography. it wasn't great. So yeah, I'm pretty lucky that I have managed to have like connections in like work world, that I've been able to get jobs, because if I would have been reliant on my A levels, it wouldn't have been very good. What is my ethnicity and background? So I'm half Sicilian. My dad is full Sicilian. What is my signature scent? I don't have one. I'm really sorry. I love anything vanilla. So I go through so many vanilla Actually, I tell you what, my favourite scent is Bare Vanilla by Victoria's Secret. If I could find a perfume that smelled like that lasted all day, I'd be a happy girl. But obviously it's a body spray, so I feel like it doesn't last as much. I'll tell you what I do love is the perfumes from Lush. They've got one called Chelsea Morning, which is, oh, that's so good. But honestly, anything vanilla-y. The Ariana Grande ones are nice. Is it Fleur? Phlur. Their vanilla one is really nice as well. Yeah, anything vanilla-y, I'm all over it. Favourite music artist? The Weeknd. I'm obsessed with The Weeknd. Like, I love him. I've had loads of questions asking me on my favourite song. I don't think I could possibly pick one. I love The Weeknd. Been a fan of him for literally years. Apart from that, I was a believer growing up. So old school Justin Bieber, I absolutely love. But anything past the Purpose album, I don't love so much. But anything up until there, you play 2 seconds of that song, I will know that Justin Bieber song. Am I coming to the podcast tour? Yes, I am. I will be at all the dates. Will I regret that? Maybe. But yes, I will be at all of those. I'm not sure if I'll be coming out into the audience because I'm scared. But yeah, I will be watching. I'm really looking forward to those. I know a few of you have said, like, this girl here says she's going to be in Manchester and stuff. Yeah, I'm really excited. And obviously I'm excited to see Isaac on stage again because he did so well in the show that they did last year. What am I currently watching? Well, Desperate Housewives. But I kid you not, I have been watching that for probably about 2 years now. And no, I'm not rewatching it. I'm watching it. That's how long it's taken me to watch. Purely because I don't want to finish it. So I am just dragging it out as long as I possibly can because I don't want it to end. I literally just finished season 7 like yesterday or the day before. And like I've had plenty of opportunity like of an evening to put on season 8. I don't want to because it's the last season. I don't know what I'll do with myself when it's over. Speaking of that, what TV shows or what series would I recommend? I loved Jane the Virgin. What I would do to watch Jane the Virgin for the first time again. Oh my God. I loved that show. I loved Ugly Betty. I'd never watched that till that was really recent. That was like last year. Oh my God. I loved that. I don't know why. I guess maybe because I was young at the time when Ugly Betty came out. I thought it was really naughty. I don't know why. Maybe because it was on like later in an evening on TV. I'm not sure. It's just not at all what I thought it was, but I absolutely loved it. So I recommend those two. I watched Gossip Girl when I was a teenager and I loved that as well. I really want to rewatch it, but I almost can't bring myself to rewatch it because it killed me when it ended. Do you know what I mean? Like, I get really attached to TV shows like that. Do I have any YouTubers that I watch? To be honest with you, I only watch Molly May. I really love her videos. She kind of is who has like, I guess, inspired me a bit more like with the sort of videos I want to film. Half the time she's not really doing anything. She's just chilling around the house and chatting. I love that. I love it. So yeah, I love her videos. Isaac will love this when he hears this. I really like the slushy noobs. I think they're hilarious. I really enjoy watching them. And so does Isaac. So we'll watch them together. They're just hilarious, aren't they? Back in the day, obviously, loved the Dolan twins. I was never like a massive like YouTube girly like Joe Sugg and all of that. I wasn't really into that. Best drink at Blank Street. Blueberry matcha for me anyway. And also try the chocolate chip cookie with the sea salt. Oh my God, I had 2 of those last week. Delicious. So many questions about like favourite song or favourite album, but I just don't think I can pick. Obviously it would have to be a Weeknd one, but the thing is, right, I love the song, but I do feel like TikTok's ruined it a little bit. I love I Was Never There by The Weeknd, but not really the part that blew up on TikTok. The second half of it, I love. That's one of my favourite weekend songs. It's too hard to pick one. It actually is too hard to pick one. Justin Bieber songs. I love No Sense by Justin Bieber. That's a tune and a half. Again, I can't pick because these songs are like my whole life. Like anyone around me always takes the piss out of me because they're like, all you listen to is The Weeknd and Justin Bieber. You don't listen to anything new. And yeah, it's true. And shoot me for it. I don't care. Favourite country I've travelled to or future ones I want to go to. I think obviously so far it would have to be the Maldives. That was just beautiful. Like I've never been anywhere like that before and I'd love to go back. But I guess apart from that, I love the Greek islands, as you can probably tell. So like any of the Greek islands, I absolutely adore. I'd love to go to more. So I'd love to go to Mykonos. I'd love to go to Santorini. I'd like to try some of the smaller ones as well. Any Greek island, anywhere I can get Saganaki, drop me in. I feel like this is going to be so long. I don't know which point to stop because there's so many. Like I could go all night. I'm going to have to do this again. I feel like maybe I'll do it again in like a month. But there's like too many. And like I want to answer them all because I love to chat. I feel like I'm on FaceTime. Okay, I've had so many comments about my hair, which to me is baffling. Because I mean, I'll be honest, like it looks all right now, but that's because I curled it the other day. But so many people asking what do I use. This is so annoying, but I don't use anything consistently. I just use what I have at the time. Right now I'm using a L'Oreal shampoo, but I've literally used it once. Before that I used K18, literally just because Flo had it, so she gave it to me. But shoot me, but it was a shampoo and conditioner. Like I don't feel like it made much difference. I don't know. I don't feel like it was life-changing. Like obviously it's so expensive. I wouldn't buy it myself. Let's put it like that. I guess what I consistently use is I use Lush Super Milk, but that's just because it smells delicious. And I guess I use that after the shower because it makes your hair easier to brush through. But yeah, apart from that, I'm really sorry, but there's nothing I use consistently. It's so funny to me that I have so many questions about my hair because I never think my hair looks good. Like hair is not something I'm good at. Like I'm not good at styling it. Even if I do style it, it might look nice at first, but it always drops out. It's so annoying. Also a lot of questions about what I ask for at the hairdressers. So I always ask for balayage. So I've literally been having balayage for years. Right now, obviously I mentioned in my other video, I had a root smudge. So I've never had that before, by the way, but that was just to kind of blend everything a bit more. But yeah, that's what I get is balayage. But an honest opinions here, I am thinking about going back to all brown just because I have had balayage hair, I'm not even joking, since I was like 16, if not actually earlier, like 15. I feel like I'm due a change, but I don't really know what else I could do. Like I'd love to have like a massive change. But obviously I've got like very dark eyebrows. These are actually bleached right now. So if I was to do anything too light or too out there, I feel like would it be too much of a contrast? I don't know. So I'm tempted after summer's over to go all dark, like closer to, like obviously this is my natural colour, all of this. Do I or do I not? What do you think? Okay, right. I will just quick fire 10 final questions and then I'm done because I could literally go all evening. Number 1. I'm moving away soon. How do you maintain strong friendships with your friends from home? FaceTime. I love FaceTime. So yeah, I'm trying to do this quickly and not waffle, but FaceTime. What's a small habit that's had a big positive impact on your life? I'd say self-care. So if there's any a time where I'm really feeling like not good or stuff like that, I'll do something that I know I'm going to enjoy. So maybe that's like watercolor painting or like a shower and I'll put a candle on and maybe a shower steamer, or I love doing puzzles. So I might do a puzzle or something like that. So yeah, self-care. Is Isaac really annoying or do you really like him? Obviously I really like him. He's a lovely boy and he's my boyfriend. Do you have any results day / sixth form tips? I'm very, very nervous. All I would say for that is, look, it's done now. You've done your exams and I'm sure you tried your best. So whatever will be, will be. Like, as long as you try your best, that's all you can do. So don't put all this pressure on this. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? A Greek island, obviously. One makeup product I couldn't live without. Oh, concealer. That's probably the thing I consistently use. So I would go right now. This is number 4, isn't it? The Kosas concealer. Fave clothing brand, Sisters and Seekers. I've got several tracksuits from there. And I just love everything they bring out. Their hoodies just fit so nice. Like what I would do to work with System Seekers. If you're watching, guys. Oh, this is a good one. Favorite Wagamama dish. Oh, tell you what, it had always been the beef tantaman. Don't quote me on that if that's how you say it. Ramen, but it's recently changed to there's like a duck, like yakisoba sort of thing. Oh my god, it's like crispy duck and noodles. That is amazing. Try it. Was that 5 or 6? Let's say 5. I'll give you one more. Favorite food. Pasta. I love pasta. I could probably eat pasta all the time. 7. What hobbies do I have? I think I just mentioned a couple, but yeah, I like arts and crafty things. I do like reading, but I'm not like that consistent with it. I do like stuff like Pilates and yoga and like sound baths and stuff. I just did one this evening. So those sorts of things. What's my favorite color? Orange, I would say. It always was orange growing up, and I think it's coming back for me. I really like orange. Is this 9? I can't remember. This is so bad. Can I give some of the links to my outfits on Insta? I am planning on doing is it Like to Know account. You have to like apply to be a creator on it. So I've applied. What I'll do is I'll upload, I guess, like everything I've worn on Instagram and like any outfit pictures coming soon. But you'll have to bear with me because I'm going to have to do it like bit by bit, like upload bit by bit. So I'm sorry, that's probably going to be really annoying. Let's end it on a good one. True to me. Where's the best place to buy vests? So the ones I've got, obviously you've seen me go on about those Pretty Little Thing vests, the contour sculpt ones. They're really good. Zara do good vests, especially the recovery rib ones. That one I got the other day was really good. Bershka and Pull & Bear, they're good for like the colourful vests. To be honest, I think that's it. They all do good vests. Okay. I'm going to have to stop. Otherwise, I could literally, guys, I could go all evening. This has been really fun. Hopefully, I've answered some of the questions that you wanted to know. And I'm really sorry if I didn't answer your question. Obviously, you saw the amount there. There's no way I could go through them. Let me know if you'd want me to do a video like this again, like more of a chatty video and like Q&A sort of video. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm really sorry because I bet this is so long. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you'd like me to do something like this again, and I will speak to you soon. Good night.